listening to the NFL Draft Bible Podcast Network, part of Sports Illustrated, giving you daily NFL Draft, Dynasty, and Devy Fantasy Football podcasts.
Class is in session. Welcome into the Draft Seminar presented by Sports Illustrated's NFL Draft Bible Podcast Network. I'm your host, Matt Hicks, the FF Educator, joined as always by my co-host, John Lobb, the Gridiron Scholar. And we're talking Najee Harris. You know, John, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, and it's been a pleasure to watch Najee Harris the last 2 years, and I have so thoroughly enjoyed watching this young man's tape. The Alabama pipeline produces another elite running back prospect under Coach Nick Saban's tutelage, Matt. I mean, when you think about it, Mark Ingram, Eddie Lacy, Derrick Henry, Trent Richardson, they just keep pumping them out at Alabama. In high school, he was the number one overall prospect in the country. He was a 5-star recruit from California, and he went all the way east to Alabama. In 2017, he played in the Army All-American Bowl and first-team parade All-American. My friends, you wonder why he didn't pop right away. This young man walked onto campus, and the Alabama depth chart in the locker room at running back is loaded. So it took a while for the young man to work his way to the number one position and the majority of touches. But once he did, Matt, in 2019, there was no turning back at how good this young man is. He was second team All-SEC and honorable mention All-American by PFF. You and I last year, we raved about his pass catching skills on our Devy seminar. And I was shocked when people weren't talking about how good of a receiver he was last summer. Now people have come around, and you and I were leading the forefront. He's an amazing pass catcher. 2 years ago, he had 7 receiving touchdowns, and he totaled 20 total touchdowns. And his receiving touchdowns are not flares out of the backfield, people. This young man is running complex wide receiver / tight end routes. And last year, 2020, he was even better. Doak Walker Award winner, semifinalist for the Maxwell Award, first team All-American and first team SEC. He led the conference and the FBS in rushing with 1,466 yards. Most importantly, 43 passes he caught for 425 yards and 4 touchdowns. My friends, you've got to go watch the tape. He's an incredible pass catcher. He was the SEC championship game MVP. When he left his campus tenure, Alabama, he was the all-time leader in rushing touchdowns, total touchdowns, and rushing yards. This young man has been prolific. Matt, what did your film study tell you as you watched Najee Harris?
Well, it told me a whole lot of good things, John, and you have to start here with the strength and contact balance. John, I give him a 95 out of 100 on strength. I barely ever give somebody a score in the 90s, but it was hard to imagine a prospect that's displayed better strength than Najee Harris over the last couple of years. He absolutely runs over SEC defenders, and that's not something we should take for granted. The SEC defenses are the closest we have to the NFL, right, playing on Saturdays. But when he sees a hole open, he hits that hole, and he hits it hard. Go back and watch the 2019 Tennessee tape. Go back and watch the 2019 Auburn tape. John, I'm not exaggerating. He literally throws SEC defenders off of him. You're not bringing him down with one guy on your own, and you're not bringing him down on the first hit. He has fantastic contact balance. He stays on his feet, and that strength goes all the way through his 2020 tape. He is an absolute monster running through the field, and it starts off the line of scrimmage. He has an 89 explosiveness score for him. He shoots off the line of scrimmage, but it's more than just off the line of scrimmage. John, he bursts in and out of his cuts with tremendous explosive ability, and he gets to that second level of the field very quickly. We're going to see the tape here in a second, but he gets to that second level very quickly. John, I need to make a particular point with pass catching with Najee Harris. He scored an 88 for me in pass catching. That's not an easy evaluation, an easy score to hit when it comes to the running back position. And I want to make this clear. Najee Harris, despite everything I've said about his strength and explosive ability, he is a pass-catching running back. And John, for me, he is the best pass-catching running back in this year's class.
I agree, Matt. I agree.
And it's not being talked about enough. Don't just picture him as a big man because he has very consistent hands. He catches off-target passes very well. That came in handy, especially this past year, John, with Mac Jones throwing the ball around. But what I will say, too, is on top of that, he's a route runner. John, he runs a tremendous wheel route. He runs a really nasty comeback route as well. If you covered up the number on his jersey, at times he lines up out wide, and Alabama has him run comeback routes. This is a really effective, dynamic, versatile back. And on top of all of that, John, he's not going to be the fastest guy at his 40 time, but he's going to have a good 40 time. He accelerates really well in the second level of the field. He actually, if you go back and watch his 2019 tape, he doesn't look as fast as he does in his 2020 tape. I was very pleased watching his 2020 tape, how much faster he looked. He's very quick in short spaces, and he beats linebackers to the edge often. John, it's hard not to get excited about a part of Najee Harris's game.
Absolutely, my friend. I think he's the best receiver since like Ricky Waters. He's amazing as a receiver.
Absolutely. Hey, let's go ahead and flip on the tape here for Najee Harris, and it's provided again by Brandon Lejeune at Devy Deep Dive on YouTube and Twitter. And look at this contact balance. All right, right against Mizzou here, and then we're going to go up against Auburn. And John, you see that cut to the outside? That's that explosive burst I was talking about. And once he's gone, he's absolutely gone.
Look, he cut the lateral agility, the vision, pop, and then the explosiveness downfield. Oh, these are SEC players.
And look at this. Not only does he accelerate here against Ole Miss straight down the field, he smacks that DB in the face that tries to bring him down with the stiff arm.
Absolutely. He fights for every yard. He never stops churning and fighting.
Look at that shake. Look at that shake here against Ole Miss. He absolutely jukes that defender out of his shoes. And against my poor Tennessee Volunteers, three guys take him down at the 4-yard line, John, and he scores. Absolutely incredible. The hurdle over the Florida defender here. This is a 230-pound back hurdling Florida defenders. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and if you watch enough film, you're going to see him hurdle a lot of players. I mean, he is one heck of an athlete.
And he's not just barely clearing these guys. I mean, he is hurdling over them. It's absolutely fantastic to watch.
Yeah, I can't wait. I hope we see some pass catching here. Look at that, though, man. The hop, the skip, the jump, the explosiveness. He takes both feet off the ground, and then he keeps going.
Absolutely. And look at that spin move here against LSU, and he keeps going. It ends up taking 2 guys after the spin move to bring him down. And just look at his comfortability in between the tackles. Fantastic vision. He never is afraid. He's such a confident runner. I absolutely love it.
Here we go.
Here's
that wheel route.
I mean, a contested catch jump ball, John, that he wins here. And we're going to see him here running a drag across the middle of the field. And he's going to absolutely, boom, he throws him off of him. And then over. Up and over.
A drag route, a pop, and a hurdle.
How much more do you want? Like, for anybody fading Najee Harris, how much more do you want? And look at this.
I mean, it's wide open, but man.
It's absolutely incredible, John. You love to see it here from Najee Harris. So now that we're hyped up on the film, man, take us through production. I need to catch my breath.
Hey, in my model, he's a top 10 running back in the last 8 years that I've been working on my model. His numbers are just unbelievable, Matt. And remember, he's 6'2", 230 pounds. We saw patience. We saw vision. We saw power, contact balance, hands, route running. I mean, this is a big man. But when you plug in the numbers, 3,843 yards rushing, 4,624 yards from scrimmage. My friends, he averaged 6 yards a carry, 80 career receptions. This number, I don't even have a ratio for receptions to touchdown. He has 80 receptions with 57 career touchdowns. And last year on a team with the Heisman winner, he had 1,891 yards from scrimmage and he was a scrimmage yards dominator of 27%. Matt, you said it. They do not talk about his pass catching enough. I mean, he's a great runner, but he might be a better pass catcher than he is runner. Najee Harris he's incredible. By far my number one this year in my model. He pops. He is a great player. First round grade. I know the NFL doesn't value the running back. He's worth the first round draft pick, Matt.
Absolutely, 100%. And there you have it, Najee Harris, the running back out of Alabama. You can put those pencils down because this episode is over, and we appreciate you listening to this episode of the Draft Seminar presented by Sports Illustrated's NFL Draft Bible Podcast Network. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast provider, please leave us a 5-star review. And thanks for listening.